a lot of leaders, and we all do this as humans, like we can spend a lot of time on some things that sometimes aren't really that important, and then end up sort of rushing through some of the things that maybe are a lot more important. But I don't think we're very deliberate about it sometimes. So we'll see, like, maybe it's a little flyer or something on the website or a little fun thing on social media. I might spend hours making this graphic or this video or something that's like very few people are going to see, or maybe it's for not that big of an event. But then it's time for me to get up and speak in front of, say, the entire parish or the whole community. And everyone's going to be listening to me for a couple of minutes. And how long do I take to prepare for it? I get up there and just read something I wrote really quick, So I think there's a really big mismatch there on where we're putting our time preparing for those things. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit today.
Yeah, I mean, we always, I know, as long as I've known you, just about, our favorite adage, like around our team is, I didn't have time to write you a short email, so I wrote you a long one. And how I think, so whenever I think of this type of a thing, that's the first thing that comes to mind. But then, I mean, you get into things like opportunity cost, right? Like that's not really a phrase I think I've mentioned on the show before, but it's not really a phrase that's in the common parlance for most churches. Maybe mainline denominations less so than non-denominational churches, something like that, because those tend to be more agile, I suppose, and think in terms of how businesses function. Not to say churches should necessarily function exactly like a business, but there's a reason that that lots of businesses do well in certain senses, right? In terms of culture and loyalty, all that type of stuff, right? That's not gimmicky. And one of those things I think is opportunity cost. So I mean, I really think of it that way. To one, say it's kind of a canard to say, something short is necessarily going to not take that long, and just throwing a flyer together, it takes a lot of effort. But then thinking, like you said, how many people, think of it in terms of proportion. So how many is this really actually going to reach? Being honest with myself as a church leader and saying it's not how many I want it to reach, it's how many it will reach, and being realistic about that. So I guess maybe before you even get to that point, it just takes a lot of kind of self-reflection and goal setting in that sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's what you're saying, and of course, businesses are more incentivized to do this. I think that's where you're going. It's to be smart with how you allocate resources, and the way you do that is you look at what you call it ROI, your return on investment. I'm going to invest an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours into this thing. What's the return on that? What's the additional value? A lot of times the first 30 minutes might get you 90% of the value, and I'm going to spend another 5 hours working on something to make it just marginally better. Maybe that's not a smart way to use your time and resources. But in some cases, if you have something that has a high impact value, it's going to be in front of a lot of people. They're going to be paying very close attention to you. These are the moments you want to make it count, where you put in the extra effort to make it that much better, so that it really has a big effect. Because a little improvement there has a big effect in its results, because you have a big audience, you have a big opportunity, whatever the case may be.